You're watching Focus on South Florida.
Welcome back to Focus. Mothers Against Drunk Driving, also known as MADD, is a nonprofit organization on a mission to stop drunk driving and to support those whose lives have been touched by it, and also to prevent underage drinking. Since 1980, MADD has been striving for stricter impaired driving policy. Please welcome back to Focus Heather Geronemus. Heather is a volunteer chairperson for MADD Fort Lauderdale and is also involved at the national level. It's so good to have you back.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's get to your kind of personal story and why you got so involved, why you're so dedicated to the organization.
Sure. Just over 8 years ago, my father, Dr. Rudabeh Shahbzai, was crossing the street here in Miami. He was walking across Brickell, and he was mowed down by a drunk driver who was, blue red light, ran into him, threw him 75 feet in the air, and he landed and died on Brickell Avenue. And at that time, Mothers Against Drunk Driving reached out to me proactively and tried to support me in any way that they could. And it really touched me that an organization that even if I had never called them back, they reached out to me, and then they supported me in so many ways and still do. And I was compelled to volunteer and figure out how to not only give back to the organization, but to be part of a world where we never needed a stranger to call and support people like that again. So to really end drunk driving.
We're so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
So sorry to hear about that. But also, a lot of people probably don't think they're ever going to be affected by drunk driving. They're never going to be a victim of a drunk driver. But that really kind of shifted your world and your perspective, right?
Absolutely. So being a recipient of programming from MADD in high school, I never thought that would be me, that I would be that person that would have that impact in my life. But the reality is 2 out of 3 of us will be impacted by a drunk driver if the statistics stay the same, if more people don't make smarter decisions on the front end as opposed to needing the victim support on the back end.
So what is the victim support? I mean, what does the organization do for people? You talked about your own experience where they reached out to you and they lent that support, and I know there's a lot of fundraising efforts, and you've been responsible for a lot of it here on the local level and the national level. Talk to us a little bit about kind of the role MADD plays in the survivors and the victims of drunk drivers.
So unfortunately, when we do need to support victims, we come in, either through on the phone, we have online support, and it's somewhat of just a helping ear, and a lot of us help, give back and help on the victim support line. It's not something that I can do. I think that's really strong of the people that can do it, but to support people who are going through the same thing that they went through is really phenomenal. We have paid victim advocates and also volunteers that answer the phone 24/7 for our victims, and it can be anything from access to resources, but also something as significant as going to court when you have to face the person that killed your loved one, which is really a tremendous help, and it's nothing that anybody ever wants to go through, but it's nice to have someone by your side that knows what it's like. But for me, I really want to get in front of things and bring this issue to the forefront before anybody else has to have that happen to them, which is why I founded Walk Like MADD and MADD Fort Lauderdale, to bring the community together before there's more victims.
And let's talk a little bit about the walk, what goes on there, and also we should recognize that you've raised $1 million in 7 years for the Fort Lauderdale chapter as a volunteer, so congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment. Why do you think that, before we get to the walk in just a second, why do you think that the community has rallied around your cause the way they have?
So I think it's just raising the issue and really demonstrating to people that it could be them. I think before it was something that people were very hands-off with, and when you speak to law enforcement, you speak to children in schools, and you speak to corporations that support us like Ultimate Software and South Florida Ford, when you make it real that it could be you, or it could be someone like me, it's not just those victims over there, that people really understand that they can be part of the solution, because we don't need a cure. We already know that the solution is making smarter decisions. So it's really actually empowering that you can be part of that into drunk driving. So I think that people love that idea, unlike a lot of diseases that we deal with, and I volunteer for many other causes that just don't have the answer yet. We already have the answer. So I think that getting that education component and getting into schools and companies and things like that, people really want to be part of the solution.
That's one advantage, that it is about choices.
Absolutely.
So now let's talk about the walk.
Sure.
I've been to a couple of them over the years, and they're just really beautiful events. It's also kind of like a memorial and a candlelight vigil, the ones that I have experienced, and they were just really kind of beautiful events. So talk a little bit about what people can expect impact if they go to it?
What's really important to me about Walk Like MADD is that it's not just for victims. Of course, we're there to support victims like me, but we're there for the whole community. So at our event in Fort Lauderdale, it's really fun. It's uplifting. There is that impactful stories. There are folks that come with life-size cutouts of their loved ones that you know why you're there, but also it's rallying the community around the cause. So we've got Miami Heat's Lucky Charm, Julia Dale singing the national anthem. Tony Segreto will be there. He's our MC. Elected officials, the Broward Sheriff's Office will be out in force with different displays and things that really make you understand the impact of drunk driving, and just live entertainment, kids zone, kids dash. You can walk if you want, you can run if you want, you can bring your pets. There's really a little bit of something for everyone, and it's just a really fun and impactful day.
I like that you can bring your pets.
Yes.
So tell us, tell people how they can get involved, how they can go, where the time and the place and the information.
Sure. So they can jump right on walklikemadd.org/Fort Lauderdale, all spelled out. You can click on register and register yourself, your teams, corporate teams, law enforcement teams, family teams, and join us on April 30th at 7 a.m. at Huizenga Plaza in Fort Lauderdale.
Well, it's such an amazing way to honor your father. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with the walk.
Thanks
for joining me. All right, when we come back, the power of sisterly advice. You'll meet 3 South